we are going to bring dream speakers and dream subject matter experts onto the show. We are going to have conversations with them. We are going to unpack with them the reality. We're going to get to know their stories beyond the stage. And I wanted to do it at a level that you may not necessarily get access to all the time as emerging speakers. And especially for some of you that are still bootstrapping your startup, it may be more difficult to even get to the places where you can access these people through a conference. We actually just passed a massive milestone on the Speaker Driven Business podcast. We have now recorded 50 episodes that have gone live for you to enjoy, and this is actually episode 51. As part of that journey, we are also about to cross the 50,000 downloads threshold, and I'm ecstatic about that. Not because I get to be in your ears all the time, and hopefully I'm playing with your mind a little bit when it comes to speaking and a little bit of sales. But what has really amazed me is that almost every single day, at least several times a week, we are getting messages from people in our community who've come across us on this podcast. Now, what that means is that when you do find us, it's landing and it's resonating. The messages we're getting are thanking us for the no holds barred, straight talking, very practical and useful information that we're bringing to you. And we want to continue along that journey. One of the reasons that I'm grateful for everyone finding us is this. We did not do any of the right strategies. And what I mean by that is I just knew that I had to get this thing started. I just knew that I wanted to get access to the basics of what we teach out from beyond any kind of firewall. So opt-ins, campaigns, I guess, marketing initiatives, the free Facebook groups, all of that sort of stuff. I wanted to get as much as we could out beyond the firewall. And to me, the podcasting seemed like the best way to do that. You're proving that theory to be right. And when I say we didn't do this with any strategy other than what was on my heart to share, I really do mean it. We have got a brilliant podcast production team. And trust me, if you love what you're hearing, the quality of what you see, visually, production-wise, everything, please do reach out to me because I'd be more than happy to introduce you to our team. We've got this brilliant podcast production team. They walked us through how to create everything. They helped us create the assets, the positioning, everything that goes with it. And then they sent me this document. And it's an amazing document. And it's about how you launch a podcast properly. And it has a lot of steps that actually guarantee you, we probably would have passed 50,000 downloads when we started. But we literally completed it all and then didn't do it. Now, it wasn't intentional. It's just that we wanted to get this into the market and I didn't have time to do the full launch strategy. So I remember someone saying to us in the second or third week, oh, you launched your podcast. And I was laughing and I'm like, no, I didn't launch it. We just sent it live. Like literally there's been no launch. We've also done very little, if any, marketing. And we do know that most people that are coming across our podcast now are coming across it because someone else has put them onto it. For that, we are incredibly grateful. Having said all of that, at 50 episodes, about to cross 50,000 downloads, I suddenly realized that this is working. And much like the start of my own personal speaking journey, when I realized it was working, I thought we need to do something with this that is even more intentional than we have been. So I consulted said podcasting production team with brilliant podcasting strategies. And I said to them, I know I didn't launch properly and I know I haven't marketed properly. In fact, I know that there's a lot of rules that I've broken along the way about what makes a good podcast. But now that we're at this point, what should we be doing? And I loved the advice. The advice was use it as a business development tool. You've got traction, you've got following, you've got audience. And how we do that is you do episodes with your clients as case studies and talking about what they've been able to do. You do episodes with people that you most want to work with. And I'm sure we've all been part of that process. And that made absolute 100% sense to me. But I couldn't do it because here's the thing. The advice and this strategy are really strong. It's one of the most powerful marketing strategies there is for coaches and consultants on the planet today, bar none. Absolutely guaranteed. I know of lots of people who are making great money. And so when my team told me that this was my logical next step, the logic made sense. But then it clashed with my values and I had to sit for a moment and actually think about why that was. And what it was clashing with was I didn't want to actually make it about me. And from my perspective, if I suddenly shifted the focus of this podcast to being all about the people I've worked with, the people that I want to work with, then we may actually lose the integrity, which is about getting as much information and teaching and learning into your hands as humanly possible. This podcast is actually all about you and nothing to do with me. And when I thought about that and I sat down, I realized that I needed to use the same North Star, I guess, that I've used my entire career, building networks out, building programs out, becoming a better coach and a better speaker, all the things I've done. And I realized a key part of that has always been go to the next level and bring them back to community. So 20 years ago and 15 years ago, when I was building networks and chambers of commerce and things like that in a small regional town, I didn't see the fact that we're in a regional center meant that we couldn't access what the bigger communities could. So I found ways to pull major speakers in and major subject matter experts in from out of town and quite often out of state, because I wanted the communities that I was curating, I wanted them to have access to something bigger. It's also the reason why when I first chose to take this very seriously in about 2017, that I spent a lot of time studying everything I could find, but also going to conferences where the best of the best were speaking. And that really changed my game. We've done it again this year. I've been to 3 conferences already this year. In fact, 3 conferences within 6 months this year that have been purely about speaking. And that was to take things to the next level. And it got me thinking, if that's how I actually operate, and that's what matters to me, that I can actually go and bring things back to you, then interviewing my clients and interviewing potential clients was not in service of that and potentially not in service to you. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the very reason that I go around the world to conferences and the very reasons why I get in rabbit holes learning more, the very reasons why things were successful when I was in smaller centers and brought bigger names into town, that was all about being exposed to something bigger. So we made the only strategic decision that we've actually made with this podcast since it started. And that decision is this: we are going to bring dream speakers and dream subject matter experts onto the show. We are going to have conversations with them. We are going to unpack with them the reality. We're going to get to know their stories beyond the stage. And I wanted to do it at a level that you may not necessarily get access to all the time as emerging speakers. And especially for some of you that are still bootstrapping your startup, it may be more difficult to even get to the places where you can access these people through a conference. I'm going to my networks first. There are some incredible people in my networks, and that will fill quite a bit of what we need to do. But what I'm going to ask of all of you, if you are still with us and loving this, we have about 15 ratings and some reviews. Wherever you are listening to us, because Apple also puts it up by region, I need you to rate and review if you're loving what we bring you, because beyond my networks, and you are going to be blown away with some of the people that I've got in my networks that I'm going to be bringing to you and the conversations that they are willing to have. But beyond those networks, to be able to go any further, I need to actually be able to show them the amount of people that are loving what we do. So if you haven't already rated us and left a review on Apple Podcasts, could I please ask that when you finish listening to this episode that you go and do that? It's really important for the future growth and for actually improving your access to the guests. Now, that also brings together another change. We have been dropping these episodes twice a week since we started, with some significant breaks. And those breaks have only been because we've been so busy working with our clients. Our clients always take priority. So the format has been 2 15 to 20 minute episodes dropped twice a week. So one episode dropped twice a week. Moving forward, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be still coming to you once a week with a teaching episode. So still sharing content, insights, ideas, how-tos, tactics, practices, all that sort of stuff. Still coming to you once a week. And then every second week, we will bring you, starting in mid-November, we will bring you these guest expert, these dream speakers and dream expert conversations. They are powerful. We've done a few of them now to get ready for this launch and this shift. They are so incredibly powerful. They are going to take your understanding of things to the next level. You are going to be blown away by the generosity of those who are truly successful in this space. What has also blown my mind is we have actually decided that we will do the public podcast, which you're listening to now, and then bonus content for our membership-based community, which is the Speak More Collective. Some of these conversations, if you are in the Speak More Collective with us and you're getting the full conversation, some of these conversations are an hour and a half to 2.5 hours in full. Now, between 30 and 45 minutes of that is exactly what you're going to get in our podcast, from Speaker Driven Business Podcast, for free across all the platforms. And trust me, there's so much value in them. You are going to be blown away with what you learn. And if you are part of our Speak More Collective, you will be forever changed by the generosity of the specific data and detail and information that they give in the extra content. So this is a changing of gears. This is a shift in direction. This is an expansion of the conversations. It is also a thank you. It is a massive, heartfelt thank you to every one of you who have chosen to listen, who've chosen to share, who are now choosing to rate and review. But this is literally a thank you to every one of you who somehow found us, despite our lack of launch, despite our lack of marketing, despite our lack sometimes of consistency. This is a massive thank you to you. I'm looking forward to where we go next and how we do it. And I'm looking forward to hearing more from all of you about what you're loving and what you're craving and what's really making a difference, so that we can continue to review what we do, to improve what you do, and to bring you exactly what you need to create that speaking-driven success that you are craving.